Hey, you guys, welcome back. Next up, a conversation about an art form that we don't see around so much anymore. Maybe it's because of the logistics of making a stone carving happen. But when passion is the driver, then you get done what you need to do and you work in the medium that works for you. My next guest is a fellow who actually at one time, way back in the day, interned here at Park City Television, so he is in every way truly a part of the family. He has been doing stone carving workshops at Silly Sunday Market for a few years now. He's expanding his operations, and we're here to talk about the cool, awesome thing that is getting creative with chisel and stone. Matt Lawler, what's up, buddy?
How are you doing, Terry?
How are you, man? Good to see you.
Doing great.
You look great, too.
Yeah, no,
Your smile's wide as always, my brother.
Well, I've been carving a lot of stone lately. It's been fun.
That's great. And you got a new spot up in...
yeah, up on Daly.
Daly Canyon.
Yeah,
it kind of seems like a perfect spot to have
it was nice.
a workshop for...
Oh, it's been great.
For bashing at things.
Yeah.
Talk about your background. How did you get interested in stone carving?
I lucked out completely. So I grew up in Maine for 17 years, and parents got an offer on their house, and they had lived in Italy beforehand. So we took off my half of my junior year, that February of 2001, and moved to Italy.
No kidding.
And got to live in Italy for a year and a half. It was amazing. And that's coming summer. I had nothing to do, so I read books. I actually started to read books. And I was reading The Agony and the Ecstasy, great book, biography of Michelangelo. I was halfway through and I was just ready to carve stone. And my dad met this goofy, tall-looking American, asked what he did. He was a painter / sculptor. So I started carving stone that summer, in a little town called Agello, which was pretty cool, because you hopped on a bus, took 20 minutes to get there. And
from
Perugia. So we lived in Perugia, Italy. Really nice. Literally, it's called the Il Verde Cuore d'Italia, the Green Heart Italy, dead center. But you took a 20-minute bus ride, got to this little town. They had this old church that dated back 2500 BC.
Wow. And
his actual house, the terrace, was an old Roman barracks. And it had 3-foot stone walls.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing.
That's really
cool. So he asked if I wanted to draw first, go with clay. I was like, no, give me some stone. I want to jump
Get into it.
So I started carving 2-3 days a week for 3-4 hour sessions.
Wow.
And yeah, that's my first guy right there, the Aztec.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Your first?
First. Kind of nice.
That's pretty amazing.
And then I started doing the workshop.
Yes.
Because when you carve marble, you do, knock off some chips.
Right.
So the little chunks I knocked off, I started filing them for friends and family, and it was a lot of fun. And that just slowly progressed, came to Park City. It was a little frustrating to try to find stone. Believe it or not, all of this is Utah alabaster mostly.
No kidding.
And you couldn't find it because all the quarries had been shut down at the time. You could buy it from California and New York, but you couldn't get it in Utah.
Where it came out of.
Where it came out of the ground.
Earth.
Yeah, yeah. So,
interesting.
And
so this is kind of the thing that you were saying that you were doing is carving these small
things for friends, and especially like hearts and stuff, and
little elephant.
Really nice.
Super cute.
Little
Lovely.
Elephant,
yeah, a little
hearts.
3D heart.
Yeah.
I like it.
So the basics, it was awesome living in Italy and having that background and being able to carve stone there. And then seeing the greats. Like I got to see Michelangelo's, his best works of art.
And it's kind of crazy to think that everything lined up. The move, the reading, the influence of literature.
I was meant to carve stone.
You were meant to carve stone?
I was meant to carve stone.
It's really cool.
The joy, and especially looking at stone for a while until you see it. And that book, they talk about that. When you see it in the stone. Because what a true artist would say is, you're unleashing it from its prison. You see it, it's trapped in there.
Right.
You need to let it go.
Let it out. Get it out.
So about 4 or 5 years ago, I started Park City Sunday Market. and I was a featured artist, and I was just selling some pieces, but for the featured artist, it'd be interactive. So then I had a couple big tables. I brought all my stone, brought some of my files, and kids loved it. They just jumped on it and went crazy.
I also have to observe, and I've seen you at Silly Market, and I know that you're passionate about this work, about this medium, but you also have a way with the kids. I mean, there's definitely something that's added on, because I was going to say, I know the kids love the stone and they love carving, but they like you too.
Well, it's fun. It's fun, especially when you get them. They can carve anything, or you get the main point, I'd say, of Chisel and Stone Workshop is to bring back, because not everyone gets to go to Italy.
Right.
And have those sequence of events that I got to give.
So you have to bring your passion.
I got to bring my passion to the world, and especially the local community.
Yeah.
And seeing those kids, when, say they see something complicated, like a little elephant, and you tell them step by step, you get them to clamp it, and they're nice. Right. Draw it out for them. It might take 3 or 4, moves, and then they see it.
Right.
And then they start freaking out. They're like, "Oh, I made it! I made it! It looks like we talked about before." And then, of course,
and then they're in.
Yeah, and then we go to polishing, which we'll use wet sandpaper, and a little water.
So are you gonna give us a little demo here?
Yeah.
You do have your setup.
We can go for the whole demo. So basically, something like this, which should be a lovely heart. So you go from this guy, which is nice, and you take one of these files, and you'd go ahead and start carving. Probably go right down the middle. We could make some moves.
So this alabaster is a pretty soft stone. I mean, you're kicking some...
It's a soft stone, and the nice thing is, even kids, when they go back and forth, they don't have to do much of any effort, and it really moves the material.
They can see
and they're like, wow,
the transformation happening.
I'm making this happen.
Right.
And then from there, you'd rough it out and get like a nice heart.
Now, this is a complete, don't know anything about it, but like at some point, do you have to take that out and carve it in your hand, or is it in your...
No, you'd always do it in clamp.
Is it in your vise and your
always
clamp?
Always in a vise and clamp. With the kids, they don't have the strength to be able to do that in their hand.
Right.
So the nice thing about this too is you can even do it on your lap.
Oh, that's great.
Doesn't really go
anywhere.
So
you have a bunch of these sort of mini rigs like this.
Yeah, and it's really fast cleanup. I use a yoga mat, put it on a table. You put all the clamps down, because then they can move it around.
Right.
And have either way they like it. And then from there, you go to polishing, and you make it all nice and shiny.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Nice. So that one is...
And that's kind of the stages: design, carve,
super cool.
Polish.
Polish. Ooh. Sweet.
And
it does have a nice little luster to it. Not a ton, but I'm sure you can.
You can.
You could take it further.
Well, and that parents love it too, because literally, when they polish, that's probably my favorite part. Because, for example, let's see here. You can feel, this is just a 400 grit, okay? You can feel how smooth that is. Mm-hmm. You can see it doesn't really reflect too much. It's pretty nice. You get a little wet, and we go just for a little while around and around. And every time, like they're like, all right, this guy's crazy. What is he talking about?
Right. He suckered my kids in.
Even the kids, they're like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't know what they're talking about. This is boring. I don't want to carve anymore. But then, just after a little bit, how smooth that just got.
Right. Wow.
And their eyes light up.
Right.
They're like,
kind of like mine did.
Whoa! I just made it that smooth.
Yeah, and you can see. You can see the changes in the color. There's some really, you can kind of see, see it on the monitor. There's some really beautiful orange up here at the top. It's such cool stuff. And so what is the larger mission that you're on? Is it about teaching? Is it about getting people engaged with?
Yeah, it's mainly getting people engaged and letting them have the opportunity. Because who knows, there's a bunch of little Michelangelos out there and Michelangelos that could be great. And not even that, to prove any kid that anything is possible. That's like the main line. And physically, like you can make anything. And for them to carve and do that, not in the self-esteem building, and they're getting outside, they're not looking at a screen anymore.
Right.
They're making something with their own hands. They can always have that as a reminder, like, I made that.
Sure.
Like,
And
I made that.
in some ways, it's almost like it's becoming more relevant, like you say, as we're all more cognizant of the fact that we get stuck into being on our phones and all that kind of stuff, that here's something that's tactile, that has an outcome, and I'm sure that you have your beautiful carvings that...
Which, you know, and that's the next step. It would be great to start a carving nation, especially a carving community.
A carving
especially
nation.
here in Park City with all this
Sure.
lovely alabaster. And in Colorado, there's some amazing marble. It's all right there. And getting kids into this would be amazing. I'm doing classes right now. I'm trying to do them at the library every Wednesdays.
Oh, great.
Hopefully get some going on the weekend, on Saturdays, and I'll be at the Park City markets in July.
Starting July.
Starting July. And I'll have
Which
some
is next
kits-
week.
Some kits available to buy and take home.
That you can take with you.
Yeah, you can follow me
That's really
on
cool.
YouTube, and we can carve stone again.
Yeah, tell people all your social media contact info.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. It's just carving lessons, and then chiselandstoneworkshop.com.
Chisel and
Stone.
Stone Workshop.com.
Yeah, cool videos on there. I do after-school programs.
Very cool.
I want to
man.
get out there, and then eventually to get some young people, and even adults to older adults, to take the next step and do some chisel, some actual
Banging on
old
it.
school
Nice.
hammer and chisel,
I
and
like it.
carve some big stone, which is very meditative and therapeutic.
Super fun. It's good to see you, my brother. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, my pleasure, sir.
And yeah, Chisel and Stone Workshop, Matty Lawler. I just have to say this, Matty's been a pal for a lot of years. He's a lovely cat. He always has a smile on his face, and I wanted to make a point for those of you who are watching who have kids that he really is fantastic with kids, and to me that's really the cornerstone, pun intended, to his entire practice. So make sure to include Chisel and Stone Workshop in your plans for Park City Market. Check him out at the Park City Library, and I'm sure you'll see his smiling face around town. If you see a crazy guy with red curly hair on a unicycle, you know that is the stone carver. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.